Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Man, oh man, this chick cannot catch a break. Alien 3. This is the 1992 sequel directed by David Fincher, who also directed Seven, amongst many other films. It was written by Larry Ferguson, who wrote Highlander, and the film is based on a story by Vincent Ward. The plot: new life, new hope? After Ripley crash lands onto a prison planet, she soon discovers there was an alien aboard the escape ship. Now, not only does her presence make everyone go crazy, but all hell is about to break loose.
2 dead and a droid that was hopelessly smashed beyond repair. The survivor is a woman.
Putting aside how depressing the opening scene of this film is, as is the film overall, it's still a poetically graphic film. Themes of religion are very prevalent within this prison, where they are turning to God for salvation and follow a code of ethics. It helps give reason as to why the prisoners are not going after Ripley from the get-go. Ripley, played yet again by Sigourney Weaver, is defeated from the get-go. Understandably so. Despite her attempts to warn and save the prisoners, she still gives the impression that by the end, she will not care if she lives or dies. Which is true. Weaver pulls out all the stops for this performance. She is strong despite all the crap that has happened to her over the course of these 3 films. She remains confident despite all the hardships she faces. She's ready to die, but shows no intent on offing herself. That is until surprise halfway through the film that is dark and downright unfair.
I don't have much time. And I can't do what I should.
Much like the first film, I feel a great sense of romanticism within the style, dialogue, and tone of this film over the second. The cinematography and tone are very warm, with candlelit hallways and saturated color tones. The character I felt the most sorry for next to Ripley was Clemens, played by Charles Dance from Godzilla King of the Monsters and The First Omen. He has this backstory that just tugs at your heartstrings because it could have been avoided and could have happened to anyone. Dylan, played by Charles S. Dunton from Legion, is the leader of the prisoners. He keeps them in line while giving them his lectures, but you can tell he's a bastard behind the glasses.
Do you have any faith, sister? Much.
However, he does not let the fact that he's a prick overtake his mission. Destroy the alien and to save as many of his brothers as he possibly can. In the book, he actually has one long dreadlock, but in the film he's bald like everyone else because there's a lice outbreak, and everyone had to shave their heads, including Ripley. I swear, her hair gets shorter and shorter between each film. One thing that is not shorter in this film is the runtime. The assembly cut is almost 2.5 hours. While I do prefer that cut, as do a lot of fans, because it keeps in key plot points and flows better, it excludes the poetic finale where that thing, happens that's really derailed the franchise in a way. I mean, it still happens in either version, but in the theatrical cut, it's more hard-hitting. Also, if you watch the Alien 3 4K that they have floating around, you can actually look it up on YouTube and get the link from the people who helped create it. Apparently, they keep that in the assembly cut, where, you know, that thing happens. And I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips and I've seen the trailers for it, and it looks very well done for a 4K. Plus, there are some additional shots that were not in the theatrical or assembly cut that help enhance and strengthen the film. But back to the film. The scenes with Gullik are very important, because without those scenes continuing, the characters, certain ones, just disappear. You never see what happens to them. I guess you're supposed to assume that they just died off screen, or were forgotten about somewhere in the prison. You need those scenes.
So where they got it?
In a waste tank.
Gotta see it again.
What the fuck are you talking about?
One thing that I'm ecstatic that isn't excluded from any version of the film is the gore, as well as the effects. I'll get into those effects in a second, but for the gore, much like the book, it's a gruesome venture into depression. Crimson plasma splatters everywhere, heads are caved in with the second mandible, a dude is thrown into a massive fan, and a throat slit just adds to the juicy, bloody violence of the film. Yeah, those effects, especially when the xenomorph is first seen in full, it looks like bad CGI, but it's really a puppet. Poorly composited, or decently composited, into the movie itself. But I do have to give it up to the creature's design. It's born of an ox or a dog, depending on the version, so it runs around on all fours. The gore looks great, but the effects are ropey at times. For the motion picture soundtrack, I do not have the extended soundtrack, but I do have the original one by Elliot Goldenthal. Very powerful score. While I don't think it's up to the first film score by Jerry Goldsmith, I would stack it up there with James Horner's work on Aliens, mainly because that score has a lot of quiet moments. Where this thing, there's stuff always happening in the score. It's a grand, sweeping epic that has a fearful, innocent quality to it in some degree. The finale, where the Beast Within plays, makes me tear up sometimes, because I'm a man. Also, the cremation, holy crap. These are deeply moving tracks. Overall, despite some of the effects, a bit of the slower pacing, too many F-bombs, and some choppy editing, it's still a really well done film. David Fincher should not be as ashamed of it as he is. But it's nowhere near perfect. Yet it's not the worst of the franchise. Far from it. It's actually one of the better installments, if you ask me. You have to look past the depressing opening. I can only assume that's why my grandfather didn't want to show me this one along with Alien and Aliens. He said it wasn't as good, but he still took me to Blockbuster to rent it. I got to the fan scene and had to turn it off. I was like, this is too much. I'm only 9 years old. But yeah, that opening scene, it affects the rest of the film, but it does so relentlessly. You want things to work out, but it further solidifies that they never will. Happy Alien Day. 426, LV426. This has been Brian Gann. You've been watching Check Out Entertainment Tonight with your host,
Signing off.